he would like.
Hey, I was talking about Bigfoot before he came in.
Well, how's he doing?
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh that loud. That caught me off guard.
Good. That's the spike, Chris. That's
Doing pretty good, huh?
Looks like science.
Science! Nope. See, it looks a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
I started with considering the Spooky Action at a Distance radio program as being the gauntlet / peer review process for my UFO extraterrestrial hypotheses. This show is a good place to test out, try out new theories, because they can be questioned at any point.
Question with critical thinking.
And so, right before you came in, and by the way, another congratulations for completion of your degree. It's quite an accomplishment.
I are a master too.
Very good.
I are.
So now, to apply...
You are, I are, we are masters.
So to apply your degree, now you have, this is maybe one of the first opportunities you'll have to apply the degree that you know you now possess, using all the sum of your training as a sociologist.
What?
UFOs, extraterrestrials. Why should there be any reason to believe they're connected in the first place?
There's a lot of people that don't.
But what about the people that do? Keep the conversation going.
Well, usually the
You don't
ones
want to
that
just
do,
stop it right there.
a lot of ones that do just do their reading, or they're actually experiencing extraterrestrials coming out of craft.
So observation or reports
Exactly. There's a lot of them that don't, though. It's
and
like they
getting
come
probed
through the walls
and
and
going
take
up
them
to a ship and levitating.
Yeah, take them through their own walls into a place. Not a ship. They end up in a place.
Yes.
Could be a ship. Could not be a ship.
Some kind of room somewhere.
Some kind of place. So, yeah.
With a medical table or without a medical table or...
Mm-hmm.
Or
it depends on how much screen memories they start playing with. It can be they could take you through your own bedroom ceiling up to a place that looks like a normal place, like a restaurant you go to, a place you hang out.
So that was the question that was asked of me when I presented my first two hypotheses, and this will be an easier. I won't have to repeat hypothesis number 1 and number 2 because I know John has watched The Next Generation backwards and forwards, and we'll kind of get the idea here. Theory number 1 was the Traveler, Wesley Crusher, the Traveler, the idea that a being could evolve to the point of not being confined by a biological organism, but is beyond all that. That's sort of hypothesis number 1, which would explain extraterrestrials a little bit more than it would craft, because I don't ever remember the Traveler being in a craft or otherwise.
He just kind of showed up.
So the Traveler theory is a little more lends itself to explaining in extraterrestrials, but not UFOs.
Also, bear in mind the screen memories. Bear in mind the reason. I brought up the idea that most extraterrestrials might well be created automatons, be either biological or mechanical in nature.
You're way ahead of me.
No, because...
That's number 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you're leading toward a basic inability to understand. It's like if people see something that's so alien, it would just terrify them to the point where they're actually useless. You need to make it familiar. Screen memories make terrifying reality into a comfortable non-reality. Through these things, it makes it much easier. Sapphire Wharf, what I've talked about before, where if your culture doesn't provide you with a word or a concept for something, you cannot understand it.
The Traveler theory could account for that.
Yeah.
Fairly simply, with the idea that when Wesley went on it was the Native American planet where the shaman ends up being a traveler. And, I didn't mean to bring up a bad...
No.
Anything
with Wesley had a half-assed chance of being bad anyway.
Yeah.
Wesley was just kind of horrible.
Well, theory number 2, real briefly, was the Borg, that we're going to have eventually be assimilated with, at some point, even artificial intelligence, although the Borg weren't really AI.
No.
They were more a hybrid-y kind of combination of, there were enhanced humanoids.
Yeah,
or
more like
enhanced.
a group mind. Well, mechanically aided group mind.
Oh, they shared their mind?
So there's a Groupon.
Well, yeah, it's like
Group mind, he said.
the Borg had a collective consciousness,
Yes.
which I believe Carl Jung like that very much.
That is kind of cool.
But I gotta go.
Right.
I managed to break away, but sad Seth when he gets
You
here.
came in here, disturbed everything, and now you leave.
I'll be back next week.
We'll do part 3 because that was the biological automaton theory that I want to try out on.
And I like the thing that the article you pointed out in terms of perhaps distance frequency control of appendages and such things too.
Yes, precisely.
But
Active
if you think-
tactile exploration using brain-machine-brain
I think a
interfaces.
more applicable term would be you could actually take over someone's body with it, or
Yeah.
actually shut it down at least.
It's the monkey treadmill idea. Put a monkey on a treadmill, and it can control a robot named C2 in Japan wirelessly. As the monkey is walking on a treadmill, it can then, the signals from its brain can communicate with electronically to the robot in Japan.
And
I-
have
But then
that
more
walk.
interestingly,
And I now see that you're about to enter the most brutal and permanent phase of totalitarian dictatorship that humanity's ever seen. Think about
Okay, John.
telling.
We have to accept that because he's got a master's.
He said he's saying we don't have to accept it. I don't. He was thinking I was about to shove something down everybody's throat here. What was it? How am I a totalitarian? Or how is this
You
theory
can
related?
control the population probably with that.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Okay.
You're obviously trying to take over
Seems
the
more
world.
benevolent than that.
Well, here's the basis of this idea. Kind of has two ideas. Well, there's two parts to it. One is the human brain and
Human brain.
mechanical device interface. So the idea is you have a monkey at Duke University, and the monkey has electrodes connected to certain motor neurons, and those signals are sent, those electrical signals are sent to a laboratory in Japan where there's a robot named C2, wasn't R2D2, I don't know, whatever it was. And so this robot that is capable of physical movement on a treadmill. So the monkey's on a treadmill. It's watching a video of this robot in Japan. It's watching, so the monkey's looking at a video of the robot facing the same direction.
What the
as
robot
it.
sees.
Exactly. And so the monkey starts walking, and it's rewarded every time it's able to use its motor neurons while it's walking on the treadmill, whenever it's able to get the robot to start to move.
How's it rewarded?
Bananas. I don't know it.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe they probably had something in its little pleasure limbic system center and probably get a little pleasure signal. I don't know what it was. But as long as they were implanting stuff in its brain, they might as well hit the
Would
pleasure center.
this be are you kind of going like the same idea, like if you had a mechanical body with just the brain implanted where the mechanical body can just read the signals off the brain? Would that be the same thing?
Here was exactly, and here's the fascinating part of it. At some point, they turn off the treadmill that the monkey is walking on. The monkey is still for 2 or 3 minutes with the electrical signals only coming out of it in its brain, still able to make the robot move, even though the monkey is not physically moving and triggering those motor neurons.
So is this an experiment that was actually done?
Yes.
Oh, okay.